But how do you get them to change that mindset in them so they come to you and they're like, oh shit, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and they're looking at everything badly and they're not analyzing and they're not doing these things? What are the steps they have to take like early on?
So I always love to study professional athletes and the way that professional athletes play, behave and train and everything, and obviously you can relate to this. But the way that professional athletes approach their training with the dedication and discipline and everything, I think we can all learn to apply that in our own lives, right? Because if we want to play life at a high level, we want to learn to apply and incorporate the same sort of strategies. So one of my favorite examples is I think about Michael Phelps. So Michael Phelps, there's an example, I think back in the early days when he started training, he was training 6 days a week and training Monday to Saturday, and then he would get in the pool on Monday, back again on Monday, and it would take him a couple of days to get back into it. And so what Michael Phelps decided to do was he decided to go into the pool Monday to Sunday. So 7 days a week he was training. And then when he got back in the pool on Monday, the day after, he didn't lose any momentum. Whereas all of his competitors, they were doing it 6 days a week, right? And we all know Michael Phelps. I don't know how many medals he won at the Olympics, but I think he's the most successful athlete of all time. And so my mentality is when I teach my clients, it's are you doing this stuff 1 hour a day, or are you doing it 24 hours a day? Not as in effort, but are you thinking like that person, thinking like the individual that you want to be? Because it never switches off. So I'm a big believer in, you and I have spoken about this privately, but I'm a big believer in rewiring your mindset, as much as you can. So one of the things that I get my clients to do is what are the beliefs that you have? So the results in your life, if you want to look at what your beliefs are, all you have to do is look at your results, right? So if you earn a certain amount of income, that's based on the beliefs that you have around how much money you're worth or you deserve or how you view business. If you want to look at your beliefs around fitness, all you have to, if you look at your results, then that tells you your beliefs, whether you think you're lazy, you're not very consistent, or you are consistent, you're disciplined, etc. So your results will tell you your beliefs. And so if you want different results, you have to create new beliefs in your mind. And I always think about how can we rewire them as quickly as possible and saturate the mind with this idea that I am this person, even though I might not see the results to see it. And so one of your examples from fighting is I have, I have limitless cardio. I have incredible cardio.
I have endless energy.
There we go. And so you were known for having some of the best cardio, right? And did you listen to that on a regular basis?
I would say it to myself every day. I would listen to it every day. And then it would come to me, that phrase, I have endless energy, would come to me when I start to get tired. Another thing that I would say is the tighter I get, the more dangerous I become. That was another thing that I used to say, which is definitely true because I'm very, very controlled. And then the more tired I get, a bit more sloppy. But it's
true because you think it's true, right?
Yeah,
and then,
exactly. As it becomes more dangerous.
You're teaching your nervous system how to behave, right? That's basically what you're doing. So you're training your nervous system to be able to operate despite the fact that you feel tired because you're giving yourself that command to your subconscious mind, and that's how your subconscious mind works. It follows your commands, right?
The endless energy thing, that command, I used it today. Literally today, I use it. It comes to my brain every single day because I push myself very, very hard, not just in physically, but mentally as well. I've had a crazy day today. I've driven for 4 hours. I was driving here and I was like, I have endless energy. And all of a sudden you're like this. You become powerful because it's, again, you're rewiring whatever you just said, whatever the scientific stuff you just said, that's what happens. So
it's an affirmation. Everything is an affirmation. Every word that you speak is an affirmation to yourself. You're just not aware of it, right? No. So if you're aware of the fact that you're talking to yourself and using affirmation, you may as well use them for your benefit, but most people are using it against themselves, right? Because they don't understand that what they're saying is reinforcing what they don't want. Most people are giving attention to what they don't want. Oh, I never have any money, or I'm always broke. Well, guess what? That's an affirmation for your life. You're perpetuating that situation because of the way that you speak to yourself. It's an affirmation, right? So we may as well create the things that we want in our lives by affirming what we do want. So I'm a big believer in just affirming what you do want in as many modalities as possible. So I always say to people, pick the modality that serves you best. So whether it's listening to it, whether it's writing it, whether it's speaking it out. To be honest, I do a combination of all three because I think it's the quickest way to get it into your mind. But this is the number one thing I do with my clients. The first thing is because the reason why you have the results that you have or behave the way that you do is because of your beliefs. So we need to change them. But that doesn't mean we can sit on the couch and do nothing, right? Obviously, we can't just sit on our ass and say, well, I'm going to change my beliefs and do nothing. The quickest way to change your identity and your beliefs is to take action. So you've got to do it, as you know, take in conjunction with taking action and getting in the ring, even though you're scared. Doing it, you might say you're the best fighter in the world, but if you don't get in the ring and spar, you're still a pussy, right? So you've still got to take the actions in conjunction with the beliefs. But in my experience, they go hand in hand.
I think for me, I have a little story about this. So when we talk about modalities, I mean, everyone learns differently, and you can be tactile or you can learn by sound or whatever. But for me, modalities, I'm a very positive person, like extremely positive, especially my mind. And I thought, like, I have a bulletproof mind. You know, it's actually one of my affirmations. And at the beginning of this year, I think it was January or maybe February, I lost my voice because I like to talk a lot. I did 2 commentary gigs back to back. I also ran a seminar for 4 days, and I went drinking with Tristan and got very, very drunk and got sick. And yeah, that compiled over 7 days. Those 7 days, anyone would. Over that 7 days, I grew a polyp on my vocal cords, so I had to have surgery. And after the surgery, I was unable to speak for 2 weeks. I wasn't allowed to say a single word, which is a very challenging thing.
Bliss.
Yeah, it's bliss. My wife said the same thing. But what I found is, because every morning I wake up and I speak to myself, I say my affirmations, I have this whole routine, and I lost that for 2 weeks. And you said about, I don't know how you worded it, about action getting you out of situations. And for me, if I'm in a bad mood, I would say out loud things that improve my mood, because I have these inbuilt systems or these mechanisms, I like to use that word, these mechanisms that sit in place. So if I start to feel tired, I'll say I have endless energy, and that will give me some energy.
It's a trigger, right?
It's a trigger, right? But I lost that ability. So to make the action of speaking aloud, like, you can think as much as you want, but then when doubt comes in and these negative, because it always does, doesn't matter, the most positive man in the world, these emotions come to you and all these things, I would dispel them straight away by speaking aloud. And I couldn't. So I found, like, my mood became a bit cloudy, you know, like I couldn't get rid of it. And that's when I realized the power that had been taken away from me. If you don't realize how, you said, every word you say is an affirmation. Everything you say out loud has an impact on the universe. I believe that 100%. And I believe it even more now, because that ability was taken away from me for 2 weeks. And I felt a little bit down. Couldn't speak. It sucks. You know, so when you can't do that, I couldn't direct my mind. So your mind and your voice, they work like in hand. Like, I could direct my own mind just by speaking aloud. I don't know if you've seen that there's some test about laughing, forced laughter. Have you? I don't know the exact study. I was hoping that you would. But
that's me laughing at your jokes.
Yeah, forced laughter. But no, like, they would make people just laugh. You know, you just have to pretend to laugh, and then they would, like, measure mood. And I'm sure someone can write in the comments the study and explain it much better than me. But just forcing yourself to laugh puts you in a better mood. The action of pretending to do something. So if you understand that, you understand the power of words. And the one thing I want to touch on, because you said about modalities, I believe in speaking, but I also believe in writing. And the simple way, if you look, something that I've started doing is looking at words and where they come from, and if you go back to how they were basically written, and if you look at the word spelling, it's spell-ing. You are writing spells. So that's the power of the written word, is a spell. You are spell casting. So if you're going to write down a spell, everything you write, you actually goes deeper into your brain than what you say. So when you write something down, if it's positive about yourself, you're gonna internalize that information. When you internalize that information, it's only going to improve your exterior life or your external life. And I think people have really, forgotten this. It's become a forgotten skill. And I think if you can, I hate quoting Connor, but Connor came out and said, if you have the confidence to speak to the universe, said something like this. This is going to be a bad quote, but it was something along the lines of, if you have the confidence to believe it, to say it out loud, and to go after everything you've got, it will come true. And that's what he said when he became double champ. And it's like, if you have the confidence to say it out loud, you truly believe it, it will happen.